So,
This meeting is being recorded.
who is recording from other side? Is there anyone is recording from your side? If anyone else is recording, please don't record. Okay. Okay. So let's move on. I will provide you the recording. Don't worry. Okay. So later you can download and you can keep it. So this data warehouse, the topics what we are going to cover. This is the topic. Okay. Anyone is having any question in this architecture? Anyone is having any questions in this architecture? How the data
Data
is
mining.
flowing? Sorry,
What is meant by data mining?
data mining.
Yeah.
So that will cover in upcoming topics. Okay.
Okay, so
See, I have a full set of documents. So a full set of this are there. Every topic is covered in this data warehouse concept. Don't worry. Okay. And apart from this, we have another document also, which is in share path. Okay. So hope everyone got share path. Whoever shared me mail ID, I provided the share path recording and the docs links. So if you'll go through this one, you will have two notes here. Okay. So one is for the data warehouse concept, what we are going to discuss here, and another one is the interview questions, as well as a few more topics which you may face the in interview. Okay, so in interview they may ask you like data purging, data pipeline, all these things. It's all theoretical part. So that I have mentioned frequently asked a question. But whatever the important, the major things to understand the data warehouse structure, I have explained in another document. So everything is completely set up. Don't worry. And this is the recording. You can go through the from the previous batch. Complete explanation recording is there. Okay, so very nicely explained in this. Okay, so let me know out of this. Let me complete it. Then, if anything will be left behind, then we'll explain like that normalization, and then what is snowflake schema, star schema, dimension modeling techniques, what is fact table, what is dimension table, everything will be covered. So these are all theoretical parts. So try to understand what exactly I want to explain, and then like you have to remember all this concept for the interview perspective. Okay, so general architecture of the data warehouse is this one, where like we'll be receiving our data from the multiple sources, and it will be processed in the staging area. Process means the cleansing of the data, merging of the data, and then transformation logic according to the business rules. It will be applied, and the final data will be loaded into the target database. Okay, target database, which is nothing but your data warehouse. And further, it will be categorized in a department wise, from these two layers, the users or the business people or the client or customer, they will be able to generate the report, and they will be able to analyze the report, and they can see the progress of the business. They'll be able to see the progress of the business. So this is what we have, the data warehouse architecture. Another one, like we discussed, what is data warehouse? It's a definition based. When they will ask you what is data warehouse, you have to explain the same thing. Okay. And this is what third topics we discuss, why we need data warehouse, okay. So next one is like we discussed last topic as a, what is difference between normal database and data warehouse, difference between normal database and data warehouse. So hope everyone understood this. Normal database is where transaction will happen in the store by or the store by whatever the store we have. Consider big bazaar is there, where like 1,000 store all over India we have for the big bazaar. So the stored by whatever the customer transaction will happen, they will also store they will store those data, transaction data, into the stored by or the city by. They will make a server, and they will store those transactions. And those transactions will be processed in a further in a staging layer. end of the day or end of the week. It depends on the customer how they set their frequency. Okay, so based on that, that will be called a normal database. Data warehouse will keep a history of the data. History of the data means the old data and current data. Everything will be stored in here and in a perfect manner. Target table, whatever we have target table or data warehouse layer, we will have data in a perfect manner. Okay, so perfect manner means data will be in a structured manner. A structured manner means what? There will be no impurities. There will be proper business rules will be applied on that. That is called as data warehouse. Okay, so these are the things are normal database where like transactional activity will be recorded. This is the history. The history record will be recorded. So this is what in last class we discussed. If you have not gone through, please go through the recording I've shared in the group. If anyone not received, then I'll share it again. Okay. So next one is what is ETL? Okay. So people, we spoke so much about ETL testing, data warehouse, Informatica testing. But what is the meaning of ETL? What is the full form of ETL? So ETL stands for extract, transform, and load. Okay, ETL stand for extract, transform, and load. So what is extract, what is transform, and what is load here in ETL? So ETL stands for extract, transform, and load is a data integration process that combines data from multiple data sources into a single consistent data store that is loaded into a data warehouse or other target system. So what is extract, transform, load? General term, whatever we can see in a diagram. So extract means we are going to extract data from the multiple sources. We are going to transform the data into a staging area, and we are going to load into the data warehouse. This is the meaning of ETL. So generally in data warehouse process, data movement, it follows ETL process. So extract from the source, transform in a staging area, load into the target database or data warehouse. The final data will be loaded here. So all three layers, ETL transform and ETL transform and loading is combinedly, it will be say as ETL process. So this is the meaning of ETL. So we'll see in a detail the definition. So how ETL works. Three steps makes up the ETL process and enable data to be integrated from source to destination. From source to destination, ETL process and enable data to be integrated from source to destination. So what is source? We have the normal database, what we spoke about the normal database. So first step will be what? Data extraction. Data extraction. Okay, so first step is what? Data extraction, which like stand for E. Data extraction stand for E. So out of ETL process, extract, transform, and load. The first step is data extraction, the process of the reading and extracting the data from multiple source system into the Informatica server is called as data extraction. So just now I explained you, it will be data will be extracted from the multiple source system and it will be transformed into the staging area and it will be loaded to the target. So the data extractions will be what? Data process of the reading and extracting the data from multiple source system into the Informatica server is called the data extraction. Informatica data can extract or read different methods such as SQL Server, Oracle. So the source system can be anything like the your database means database anything Oracle SQL, Microsoft SQL, Teradata, Netija, or anything else, or the file system. So anything will be there. From there, it will be extracted and it will be loaded to the further layer. So where Informatica tool will come into picture? So Informatica tool, what is the responsibility of Informatica tool? To extract the data, load here, apply the transformation logic. If any rules are applied, apply those things and load here, and again clean the data. Whatever the rules are applied in the Informatica tool by the developer, okay, apply those rules for transform it properly this data and load here. So Informatica tool will be work as an intermediate tool which will be responsible to load data from one area to another area with some rules are applied. So this is what we have. We'll discuss more about Informatica tool when we'll discuss about the Informatica. So this is what we have: data extraction. So it will be extracted from the multiple sources. Data transformation means the data transformation is a process of converting the data into the required format. So that data transformation is a process of converting the data into the required format. So what is the required format means? If you'll consider a staging area, we discuss a lot about a staging area where the data will come from the source system, which will be in a form of unstructured data, raw data. So some impurities will be there. Some impurities will be there, like name will be not in proper format, or a date will be not in proper format, or mobile number will be not in proper format. So those data will be cleaned, and it will be made properly. And then customer want some rules to be applied on those raw data. Okay, so before loading to the target table, customer want some rule from the customer side. So they want to apply those rules in this raw data, and after transformation rules applied on those data, then it will be loaded to the target. So according to the customer, whatever they want to the rule to be applied, those data transform, that is called as transformation rules. So those rules will be applied, and accordingly it will be shared with the warehouse, data warehouse, which is nothing but database or your target system. So this transformation rules, where it will be applied in an Informatica tool. So by whom it will be applied? The developer will develop the mapping according to the customer requirement. They will develop the mapping. They will be responsible to design all this architecture. Okay, and what are the tables will be loaded with the which data? Everything will be developed by the developer into the Informatica mapping document. Okay, so in the Informatica mapping document, they will set the business rules, and accordingly transformation rules will be applied into the Informatica tool. And after that, those data will be loaded to the data warehouse. Hope I'm clear, guys. Any question? Any question, guys? Okay, so data transformation rules are applied where, like, different types of you can consider that data merging. It means it integrates the data from multiple sources. So from multiple sources, data will be combined and it will be loaded to the one layer, okay, staging layer, and then further to target. Data cleansing means, just now we discussed, it cleans the data from unwanted or unnecessary information. So unnecessary information means what? Consider my name is James. Then my while I went in a big bazaar, and then cashier entered my name. By mistake, he entered some special character in my name. So those impurities should be removed, and then the name should be in a proper manner. So those things will be done in a data cleansing. Data aggregation means if it aggregates the data using the aggregate functions such as sum, mean, max, count. If any aggregation functions to be applied in a transformation rules, customer want to know, I want combined all stores data and load into one table. So those things will be done by sum, or customer want to know, I let me know the minimum cells of the data in a store by. Those things can be done. Maximum value can be done. Account will be done according to the business logic. It will be rules will be applied into the transformation logic, and it will be loaded to the target. Data scraping means it is used for to derive the new data. It is used to derive the new data. Okay, guys. Any question in this? Any question?
Yes, sir.
Just a second.
What is the data scrubbing? Can you explain again, sir?
Yeah, tell me.
What is the data scrubbing?
So data scrubbing is nothing but, if you'll see the definition, it is used to derive the new data. New data means what? Consider that we have the multiple sources. Okay, so every day data will be added. Okay, so that will be considered as a new data. Okay, that will be considered as a new data. The new data means what? Every day the new customers data will come to the data warehouse or a store level. So those data will be added. That is called as new data scrubbing. Okay, we will not go for the more details. They will not ask what is data scrubbing.
Check.
Yeah.
How does, see, let's assume a hypothetical example. I'm being the customer. I have visited to the store.
Yeah. Yeah.
How does it comes into the data scrubbing? Uh, Not much clear then. Sorry. I mean, see, I visited to the store. How, right? It will be, the data will be in the source system. Now they will, I have taken something from the store, and the billing, I'll visit to the billing counter. They will enter all these things. That will go into the source system. One of the, it might be in the operational database. It might be in the form of operation raw data, or it might be in the form of flat files. How does it move into the data scrubbing? I mean,
see, the general definition of data scrubbing is like it will be done as like it is used to derive the new data. New data means what? The
that's fine.
clean.
Jen, sorry to interrupt over here. Can you come up with a real-time example? I mean, see, it is used to derive the new data. We understand by the theoretical knowledge that new data, in the sense it is a new data. I mean, whenever the data is being loaded into the source system, it becomes a new data only. How does it become as in a data scrubbing?
So the data scrubbing will be referred as a data cleansing also. Okay. So data cleansing or data scrubbing are the same thing. Okay. So consider that if you go in a store, okay, and you do transaction, you are doing the first time a transaction. Okay. So though you will be considered as a new customer. Okay. So you will be considered as a new customer, and your data will be stored in a your data will be stored into the data warehouse after the cleansing process and all these things.
First, directly it cannot store into the warehouse, right? It will store into the source system.
That's what
And
I
then,
am explaining. Your name, please. Your name, please.
sorry, Jen, myself is Pawan.
Pawan. So if you remember from the previous class, data will come from the data first. It will be stored in a source, okay, to the different operational system. Okay, so consider if we have 100,000 stores, so that will be stored in a first source system, store wise. Then after that, the source team will be there to make your data proper, the cleaning process. After that, it will be stored in a staging area. If you remember from the previous class, I hope so you'll be remembering it, correct? Correct
Yeah.
or not? Yeah. So so that's what like we will have the source team. We will have the source team which will be responsible to make this data readable format. Okay, make this data readable format. After doing that, only it will be get loaded into the staging area. Okay, so this is the data scrubbing is nothing but it's a none as the data cleansing also, and it like if you will have the incorrect data, so you have to fix that incorrect data, incomplete data, or like duplicate data. Consider that if one person buy the things and by mistake it's the entry is made for the twice or thrice or 5 times, those things has to be corrected by the source team, and it will be loaded further. So that is what we have the data scrubbing. So that's what. Hope it is clear, Pawan.
Yeah, Jen.
Yeah. So data loading means what? Data loading is after the applying transformation rule, the final data will be loaded to the target system. The final data will be loaded to the target system. Okay, there are two types of data loading. So okay, initial load or full load, or delta load or incremental load. Okay, so data loading is a process where data will be loaded to the target system from the staging area after applying transformation rules. After once the data will be in a structured format, after the data will be cleaned, so those data will be transformed. Those data will be transformed, and just a second. So those data will be transformed, and it will be loaded to the target system. There are two types of data loading. Okay, so there are two types of data loading: initial load or full load. delta load or incremental load. See guys, one more thing, clearly, we are not going to design our data warehouse. We are not going to develop our data warehouse. What we are going to do, we are going to validate database for source database and target database. So we don't need knowledge in a depth for the testing related things. Okay. So what they will ask, direct question they will ask, what is ETL process? They will not ask you the architecture wise questions. Okay. For the whatever the architecture level data will be there. If you want to search on the Google for the data warehouse, you will have lots of concept for the data warehouse. Okay, but those things are applicable for the data warehouse architecture. Who will design the architecture? Who will prepare it? And who will be responsible to design the architecture, complete architecture of the organization data warehouse. Okay, and developers need more details on it. What we need limited only direct answers we need. We don't need in a depth knowledge. So believe me, I have, based on my 10 years of experience in ETL testing, based on that, I'm saying that I have attended more than 100 interviews. Based on those experience, I'm just telling that we don't need that much of depth knowledge of ETL testing or data warehouse concept or anything. SQL also, if you'll see, the basic only we need. We don't need a kind of developers or like very architecture level of knowledge. What they will interview will see, you will be able to validate data, source data, and target data or not using SQL queries or whatever whatever the theory part you are seeing, that this is for the interview purpose only. It will be not used in your real-time project. Only the theoretical part is there. It will be not much things will be required for the interview perspective. Interview perspective only, they will ask you this question: what is ETL process? What is initial load? What is delta load? These are the questions they will ask you. So just try to understand these things basic level. They will not tell you that show me the architecture, show me the real-time example, not like that. So they have multiple questions to ask in this 15-20 minute of interview only. So in that only they will ask. So just believe me, based on my 10 years of experience, I drafted it and it will be applicable. If you are looking for a job faster, I request you to don't go in a deep level. I request you, I am stopping you to don't go in a deep level. Trust me, how much I am giving you, that is more than sufficient. Okay, that is more than sufficient. We don't need architecture level, developer level involvement into the data warehouse. Only if you want, you can make yourself very comfortable. You make yourself very strong into the database. If you want, you can do it. But other than that, we don't have more scope for the ETL, this data warehouse concept. We don't need to know much more about the Informatica tool, because Informatica tool, again, developers thing. These things are a data warehouse architecture thing. So what is our job? We should be good in an SQL part. We should be good in a SQL part, so that if complex query will be there, so you will be able to write those queries. So there we have to learn the things. We will be good. We have to be good in a writing test cases. We have to get in a documentation. Like if you have to prepare test strategy document, test closure report, you have to be good on that. Okay. So documentation part, every tester you have to be very good. Okay. So that's all about the scope for the ETL testing. Hope you will trust me and you'll go ahead, because see, our target is to give you job in a faster ways. If you'll follow my instruction, you will have your job. Okay. So coming
Hey,
back to the
I have a query. I am not sure whether I am relevant to this topic. See,
Hmm.
you say that the data will be cleansed and everything, right? So
Yeah.
my question here is, see, if you have it in the database in unstructured manner also, you can use your code and then you can, in UI, you can do magic, right? Then why do you need to save the data in a structured manner in a database? Why can't you fetch the data, whatever is required, and save your time? Why this ETL is required here?
Okay. So if you will have unstructured data in a data warehouse, okay, unstructured data in a data warehouse, do you think that business user or the customer, they will be able to analyze the report?
Uh, okay, the report wise, is it?
Yes, yes.
But
So
okay, clear.
yeah. So we need a proper data so that they will not have difficulties to analyze their business. So that's why they are investing lots of money to take the decision, business decision, which store is doing good, which store need more store nearby, or which store is not doing good, or which country is doing good. Based on that, they will be able to take the decision. Okay. Yeah. So data loading is the process where the final data will be loaded to the target system. And it is like two types of process will be done, like initial load or full load. It is the first step. Okay, it adds or insert the data into the empty target table. So initial load, by the name itself, if you'll see, it is saying the initial, or initial means first time when the data will be loaded to the target system, that is called as initial load. First time when the data will be loaded, that is called as initial load. Delta load, what it will be, delta load or incremental load. By the name itself, incremental load, if you'll see, so that means that second time onwards when the data will be loaded, that is called the incremental load. If you'll see the name incremental, by the it is very clear that it will increment the data. Increment the data means what? When we have already previous data is there, second time onwards when the data will be loaded, that will be called as incremental load. Okay, any question in this? Okay, so coming back to the OLTP system, so a few people ask that, what is OLTP, what is OLAP, what is data mart, everything are drafted. So I'll explain you everything. We don't need architecture level of information, only we need a theoretical part of knowledge. Okay, but I will explain you with the real-time examples. Okay, so what is OLTP? OLTP stands for the online transaction processing. Online transaction processing. What is OLTP? OLTP full form is online transaction processing. So this important interview question: what is OLTP? What is the difference between OLTP and OLAP? Okay, so uh, in uh, in interview you can consider 3:1 ratio. Okay, so out of 3 interview, in one interview you may expect this question. Either from OLTP they will ask, or from the OLAP they will ask. OLAP they will ask, or they may ask you what is the difference between OLTP and OLAP. Okay, 3:1 ratio you can consider. So I have mentioned 9-10 points. Only 3 points you have to tell into the interviewer. Okay, in interview you have to tell 3-4 points only. That is more than sufficient. The full form of the OLTP is online transaction processing. OLTP is transaction data. So what is OLTP? So in our diagram, where OLTP will come? So OLTP will come in this layer. So these are the transaction data. So OLTP data sources, this layer, it will be called as OLTP. This layer, initial layer, it will be called as OLTP. Okay. So if you'll go through it, or if you'll go through it, okay, if you'll go through it, OLTP are transaction data. OLTP are transaction data. We know that it's a source side. OLTP is called as source side. So that's why it will handle the transaction data. OLTP have a small amount of data. Definitely, when we have 1,000 stored in a company, and one store will be considered as OLTP, then it will have a small amount of data, because it is handling 1 day data or the 1 week data. It is not handling the full history data. So it will have a small amount of data. Tables and joins are complex since they are normalized. This is done to reduce redundant data and to save storage space. So when we speak about the memory in a local database, we will have less memory in a stored by databases. Okay, so whatever the server they will set up into the stored by, it will have the less memory, so that they will make tables and joins in the simple in a complex manner. Okay, and this is done to reduce your redundant data. Redundant data means what? Redundant data means duplicate data. Okay, so sometimes cashier will by mistake, if server is down, he will enter 2-3 times, and those entry will be done 2-3 times. The customer details will be added. So those are duplicate records. Correct. Those are 3 times. If you same customer, same product, same transaction is entered in a database, local database, then it will be considered as a duplicate data. So to remove those things, that tables and joins will be made complex, and they are normalized to just free the memory space, of the local database, and to reduce the redundant means duplicate data. Okay, so OLTP structure will be in that format. So OLTP has fast response time. Because why OLTP should have the fast response time? Consider that me and you went to the store, okay, any of the online store, or any of the online store, and you do transaction there in front of the cash system. You do transaction, and if it takes 10 minutes, 15-minute time, you'll be bored. Okay, how much time you are taking? You definitely you will be telling the same thing to the cashier. So if we'll have the response time will be fast, then we'll be able to finish in 1 or 2 minutes only. How much we purchase, 5,000, 10,000, 20,000. If it will be done in 2-3 minutes only, then it will be considered as fast response. If it will be slow, like if it will take half an hour time, 1 hour times, why you will waste there? You will go to the other store. So that's what they have to make it very fast, so that your like waiting time will be less. OLTP store the record of the last few days of the or a week. So just now I told you that the local database, the normal database, the OLTP will store 1 day data or maximum 1 week of data. It depends on the business how many days they want to store their data in a local database. After that, it will be processed for the further processing. After 1 week or after see how this process will be done. Consider that today one store has done 1,000 customer visited. So customer what, like a client what they set up, they made it like end of every day, the whatever the transaction data is there, it will be moved to the further layer for the further processing. So in that case, what it will be set as end of the day, those transaction data will move from those local database, and it will be stored further layer. It will be moved to the further layer. Or some of the company they will make as a, okay, I don't want a daily wise. You transfer all this data week wise. Consider Sunday night to 11:59. Just transfer me whole week data, whole week transaction data, and for the further processing. So like this, OLTP store the record of the last few days or the week. ER modeling techniques are used for the database design. Okay, optimized for write operation. So optimized for write operation. Definitely it is optimized for write operation, because consider that cashier are entering the values. Okay, and those values will be stored in a server or local database for 1 day or 10 days or 1 week of time. So if one customer purchased TV today, and he come back tomorrow again, no, I don't want this TV, I want to exchange it with another TV. I like big TV, I like another brand TV. So what he will do, he will return the product and he will purchase another. So he paid 10,000 extra amount, and those to be updated. So how can we update it? When we will have access for the right operation, then only we will be able to update those transaction data. So that's what OLTP have operation based on insert, update, and delete. So you will have this command when you will be handling the source side data, source side databases. So it will whoever will be working in a stored by the supervisor or anyone, they will have access of insert, update, and delete command, so that they can insert a new record, they can update the existing record, or if they want to delete the record, duplicate record, or any record, they can be able to delete it. Okay, so this is what we have the definition of OLTP. Any question, guys? See,
Jay, Jay,
yeah,
Can
please
you
let
go?
me know your name.
Myself is Pawan again. Can
Yeah,
you
yeah,
go up?
Pawan.
Can you go up? I mean,
Yeah,
see, ER modeling techniques are used for database design. I mean,
yeah.
what are those modeling techniques? I mean,
We'll discuss in upcoming topics. Okay.
okay.
So I have just made it that topic wise. We will discuss on that.
and sir, like table joins are complex. No, I didn't get what exactly, sir.
So that is the internal things will be there. Okay, so that will be the internal things. See, we know that the we are dealing here the operational system. This is also database. Okay, so they will design architecture, will design tables such a way that whatever the transaction data will come, no, that will be in a, table and it will be in a table format. Okay, so it will be in a table format, and multiple tables will be joined in that. Okay, so if you'll go through the definition, it is saying that tables and joins are complex. So tables will be there in a database, and it will join multiple tables, so that the complex means what? Will not go into the architecture level, but we have to study that tables and joins are complex to reduce the redundant data, so that if you will be entering the duplicate data here in a local database, it will restrict you that already we have a data, already we have this data exists. So if you are entering it again, so it will throw you error. So like that, it will be made complex. Getting my point, Ramesh?
Yeah. Yes.
So ER modeling technique we'll discuss in the upcoming topics. I have just made it. Everything will be covered in that. So I'll explain you in a deep detail. So if I'll explain it now, flow will be in a wrong way. Okay, so that's why I made it in a last, so that you will have proper things. If you'll go through that, it is a stand for the entity relationship model. Okay, entity relationship model. It is high level data model. This is model is used to define the data element and relationship for the specified system. So this will it's a dependent on other topics also that we'll discuss in the last topic. So Pawan, we don't need that much of high level of this, like architecture level of this thing. Okay.
Jayant, I'm
Yeah.
looking from the point of, see, a candidate who
Mm.
is having more than 10 years of experience. I mean,
Mm.
how do we answer? See, there should be some difference. There should be some difference between a candidate of having 4 years or 5 years to
Yeah,
compare
4, 5 years or
10 plus,
6 years,
right?
7 years also, you will not have that much of difficulties. If you will go for 10 years also, believe me, they will not ask you how will you design ER modeling technique.
Yeah, Jayant. I mean,
No.
Jayant, now the purpose of joining the class is totally depend on you. I mean, we
Yeah,
trust you and then we follow it.
that's
It.
what I'm saying. Just trust me. They will not ask you that how you are going to design ER modeling technique, how you are going to, that definition wise only they will ask.
As you
Because see,
promised us that till we get the job, you are with us,
yeah,
right?
we are behind. I'll be behind until unless you will get job. So
Yeah,
if you'll ask from the other batch, on one of the batch I am handling 40 students. In another batch I'm handling 35 students. So I'll be behind them. I'll be taking mock interview now. Yesterday one person called me and he asked me, sir, whatever the recording you have provided, now SQL middle is running. So he told me that I have completed till Oracle SQL. Complete I have SQL. Okay, fine. Let me take the interview of you. So I have taken interview and I was surprised. He was able to answer all questions and he prepared very nicely. Okay, then I gave him access for the Informatica, so that he wanted job immediately, 10 days, 15 days only. And full day he's free and 10 hours he's giving every day, he just mentioned. So like that support I will provide you. I'll be behind you in middle of the class, in the end of the class. If you want in faster phase also, I will give you full access of the all these things. This is also class recording only. And believe me, we don't need much architecture level of knowledge. That's why I'm restricting. If you'll go for the architecture level of knowledge, then it will take 3 to 4 months to complete this courses. And people here for the 1 month only, I have just promised after 1 month you will have the multiple calls and you have to crack the interview based on this stuff. Okay, so that's what. If you'll go for 10 years also, you will do the same ETL testing process. Only thing that you will be managing the team also as a lead.
yeah.
Okay. So believe me, you will not have any difficulties when you will go for the 10 years or 4 years or 6 years, based on my experience. Okay, what I have drafted. But I will explain you. I'll explain you in the theoretical bias or the practical bias. I'll explain you everything. Don't worry.
Fine, Jayant.
So these are all theoretical part. That's why you are having trouble. Otherwise, like skill part, when it will come, I will discuss more in a real time scenario in a database side, so that it will be clear. So these are all you have to remember the points. That's all. Okay. Okay. So let's move to the next topic. What is OLAP? Any other question, guys? If you have not understood, let me know. I'll explain it again. If you have not understood, let me know. We'll explain it again. Okay. Rajkumar, Shruti,
Right.
yeah,
Hello.
yeah. Tell me.
So OLTP, where do we get the sources? Sir? Give an example, real example.
OLTP. See, this is the normal database only. It will be considered. This is architecture, online transaction processing. If you by the name itself, if you'll see, it will be like online transaction processing. It will come into the this layer only. It will be it's named as a OLTP. This source side, it will be named as a source OLTP. Okay.
The database,
Yeah.
DB2 or Oracle, SAP,
Yeah.
like that. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, sir.
So next topic is OLAP. Okay, so OLAP stands for online analytical processing. Okay, so OLAP stands for online analytical processing. By the name itself, it will see. Okay, analytical processing means what? Customer related things. Okay, so analytical processing. So where it will come? Where it will come? It will come in this layer. Okay, so it will come in a target database data warehouse layer. OLTP, online analytical processing, from where the customer will be able to analyze your business data, where the customer will be able to analyze your business data. So that is called as OLAP, online analytical processing. This layer will be called as OLAP. Okay, so what is OLAP? What is OLAP? OLAP is nothing but OLAP stands for Online Analytical Processing. These read the historical data for the user for the business decision. Just now I told you, this layer will be called as target layer will be called as your OLAP, and that will store your historical data, 10 years, 15 years of data. And what will be it will be useful for? It will be like for the business people, for the client, for the customer, or for the higher management to take the decision, to take the business decision. Based on that, it will be like they'll be taking the decision based on the target table. Okay, based on the target table. So this whole process is called as OLAP. It's a historical data where business people will be able to analyze your business data, your business. They will be able to analyze their business from this layer. Okay, so this is what we have from the OLAP. Okay, and tables and joins are simple since they are denormalized. This is done to reduce the response time for the analytical query. So we know that about the business people or the client. Okay, so they will not have much time. They will not have much time. Considering that they will be busy in the meeting and to grow more business, or to the like they will not have more time to wait for the, if consider that if they open one report, okay, and it's taking 10-minute time, 15-minute time, or 20-minute time, so they will be wasting their time, correct? So they will get irritated that why this response time is more for the reporting. So they will then investing millions of billions of dollars into this architecture, and after that also if they have to wait for half an hour time, then it's not good for them, correct? So what they will do, they will tell that architecture that you make a architecture of the data warehouse such a way that it will not consume my time. 1 or 2 minutes is fine, but it should not take 20-minute time or 15-minute time. So they will tell that, okay, you make a architecture such a way that data, whatever it will be derived, data from where it will be derived, data whatever it will be derived to the reporting, it will be fetched easily. It will be not so complicated. So the data fetching of the to the reporting, it will take some time. So the table and joins, they will make it a simple here only, so that the data whatever they will fetch here from this layer, it will be faster phase. It will be faster for the client and the customer. Okay, so that's why response time should be fast for the analytical query. If you remember, we have mentioned that response time fast. Response time should be fast. What level it should be response time fast in OLTP? The transaction bytes, to the stored bytes. Okay, to the stored bytes. But here also we are saying that response time should be fast for what? to generate the reporting for the business people. Okay, database size is from 100 GB to 1 TB, and it will be more than 1 TB also, because nowadays data generation are used, online transaction are used. So it will be more than 1 TB also, database size in a target database. Okay, in a target database or in a data warehouse database, we know that data warehouse is also database. So those database size will be 100 GB to 1 TB. Okay, the memory will be allocated to the database will be 100 GB to 1 TB, or more than that also you can consider it nowadays. So this dimension modeling techniques are used for the data warehouse design. So architecture, what modeling technique they will use? They will use dimension modeling techniques. This topic we'll discuss in upcoming topic. So just remember that for the data warehouse designing, people like architecture, they will follow the dimension data modeling technique. Okay, dimension modeling technique they will follow for the data warehouse designing. So this upcoming topic is this one. So I will explain you what is dimension modeling technique. Okay, optimize for read operation. So definitely when we have history data, consider that organization started 20 years back, and from past 20 years, all data are there in a data warehouse. So it will be enough for the read operation. We will have access for read operation only. We will not have access for insert, update, and delete, because by mistake also, if you will delete 1 month of data or 2 months of data, then what will happen? The client will lose their important data for 1 year, 1 month of. If by mistake it's deleted, then they will not able to generate a report for those years. So data loss will be there. So that's why it is made to the only for the read operation. Whatever the target OLTP will have, OLAP we have, so we'll have only for the read operation. High performance for the analytical query. This is just repeating this one. High performance for the analytical query. To generate it will take less time only. It is used for the access millions of records. Definitely when we will have history data, 10 years, 20 years, or 50 years, you will have millions of data. You will have millions of records stored into the OLAP. Okay, so this is what we have. And the difference between OLAP, OLTP and OLAP is same. You can just read it, the same thing. It's a transaction data. This is the history data. This is a history data optimized for read operation OLAP. OLTP is for the write operation. Okay, we will be able to insert, update, delete in a OLTP, but we will not able to insert, update, and delete into the OLAP. So these are the difference you can tell into the if customer will ask that, give me the difference between OLTP and OLAP, you can tell 4 or 5 differences, and I have mentioned 7 or 8 points. Okay, so no need to mention all point into the interview. 4 or 5 points is more than sufficient to clear the interview. Okay, guys, any question?
Yeah, Jayant, I have a question.
Yeah, tell me your
Yeah,
name,
like
please.
Subramaniam.
Yeah, Subramanian, go ahead, tell me.
Yeah, you said that tables in OLTP are normalized and tables in the OLAP are denormalized. So what
Hmm.
does it mean? Like, how do we understand in a more generalized way?
And just hold it, We'll we have an upcoming. Okay, so denormalize and denormalize. We have
Yeah,
upcoming topic. Okay, so we'll discuss in that, and then you can relate on that time. Okay,
yeah, okay. Yeah, thanks.
everything I have mentioned. That's what, like, I mentioned everything. So don't worry, everything will be explained properly so that you will have no difficulties in understanding. Okay.
Yeah, hi Jan, Utkarsh this side.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, tell me.
Yeah, uh, Jan, I would like to know about like what the ETL is. I'm not getting the ETL.
Yeah,
Like
that's what,
what we
like,
have to extract, what we have to transform, and what we have to load. It is all about data or like anything else.
that's what
Like suppose
everything
if I
we.
say
Mm,
I'm doing postman, so
mm,
the picture come in my mind like I have to check for the API request in the background. So what
mm.
is this ETL is all about?
Okay,
Can you explain?
so yeah. So just now I explained ETL. So it's all about the data. It's all about the data. What data? So consider that Amazon, Flipkart, or Myntra, or your big basket or anything. So every day, people will put order, place order, okay, or like banking domain, any banking domain you take, like SBI, HDFC Bank, these are Indian banks, okay. Overall, you will have so many banks in all over world, okay. So insurance company you take, or any retail company you take, Reliance Press or Big Bazaar, or you take a DMart or whatever you want to take. So what these people will generate do it. So you will go to the banking and you will do transaction, correct? You will go to the ATM and you will do transaction. So what you will do, you will generate data, okay? You will generate the data. So where this data will be stored, it will be stored into the target system, the data warehouse. They will make some such arrangement. They will make such arrangement so that it will be processed properly and it will be stored in a target system. How it will be processed? Consider that you went in a bank, okay? You went in a bank, you gave a form, you deposited 1 lakh rupees in your account, okay? So 1 lakh rupees you have deposited into the account, and you gave the form. So maybe your spelling is correct only, but the cashier, what the cash counter people, like accountant, what he only mentioned your Utkar's name only. He did not mention the last name of yours. Or like Utkar's also, by in hurry, she mentioned only account number and name she did not mention. So those transactions will be there. It will be considered as raw data. Okay, it will be considered as a raw data, and your mobile number also she did not answer because so many people are there in a queue. So she entered your account number and amount, and she entered that and she deposit in your account. So those transactions will be incomplete, and it will go in a backend. Backend team will, what it will do, they will fetch your name from the account details, okay, and they will make that table proper. They will make that table if your mobile number is not there. So they will make this proper data, and they will process to the further layer for the further like staging area it will go, and then it will go to target level, target area, and it will be stored into the data warehouse completely. Okay, so whatever, consider that like you in bank 1 lakh customer visited in all over India. So those 1 lakh customer data, it will be made proper. And then if any rules bank is applied, like, no, I want complete in Bangalore, if consider 10 is 10 banks are 10 branches are there. So customer want, no, I want complete Bangalore data to be loaded into the data warehouse. Those rules will be applied. Those rules will be applied into the staging area, and it will be loaded to the data warehouse in a target in a proper structured manner. A structured manner means what? The data will have the complete information. Okay, got it, guys? Got it, Utkarsh? So here everything is that we are playing with the data, because nowadays we have data generation are huge. Okay, so customer is investing millions of billions of data. This is the database where we have target database. Nowadays they are implementing a cloud-based technology also, so that this data they can able to transfer into cloud. Okay, they will be able to transfer this data in a cloud. Okay, and for the security purpose, and it will be more secure. So even though if data is in data warehouse, sometimes data breach will happen, like data leakage will be there. Maybe like server access, if your computer will have your server access for the database, they will be able to see your data. So what they will do, they will now transfer into the cloud for the security purpose, and for the accessibility will be much faster. So this is what we have ETL process. Understood, Utkarsh?
Yeah, Jan. Yeah, one thing more. So here, load means to load a new data, or like we have to do the load testing of the uploaded data. Because what I'm
Load,
getting with the
we
picture is like we have a
uh,
huge amount of data.
yeah. So we are not
Yeah.
going to do load testing, as you will have a stress testing, load testing, all these things in manual testing. Correct. We are not going to do those things. But what we are going to do, we are going to validate our data into the database. Consider that we have a source as a database and target as a database. We are going to validate those data. Those data means like those are up to the mark or not. It's like, let me just share you the Informatica, this one transformation logic, how it will be loaded. Okay. So then it will be clear for you.
Mhm.
Okay. This is Informatica things. Okay. So okay. So if you'll consider this one, okay, mapping document. So mapping document. So what in this one? We have a source table. We have a source table and we have a target table. Correct. We have a source table and target table. Consider that these are the field we have in a source side, and this is the business rules from the customer. Customer, they want their data in a source side, whatever the data they have in this employee table, in they want to apply these rules, like print first name in a uppercase. So wherever the name is in the lowercase, it will convert into the uppercase, and then it will be loaded to the target table. Or like concatenate your last name and employee ID and load into the target side. Or when if your Gmail ID is not in proper format, then when salary is greater than 10,000, then populate as a at the rate gmail.com, email at the rate gmail.com into the target. So these are the rule. These are the rule will be mentioned by the business people. These are the rules applied by the business people. Developer will develop into the Informatica tool. Developer will develop into the Informatica tool. And if we'll run the Informatica workflow, these are the rules will be applied from the source table data to the target table data. So in target table, these are the rules will be applied, and we have to validate that whatever the developer they have applied these rules, those are valid or not. Or if we are considering 100 record to be loaded from source table to target table, and target tables also we are considering that 100 record to be loaded. So we have to make sure that those 100 records are loaded from source table to target table or not. These are the business rules are applied from the source table to target table or not. So like this, we will validate our data, and we will make sure that whatever the data is loaded here, it's a perfectly fine, perfectly fine. Got it, Utkarsh? Utkarsh?
Yeah, Jayant.
So like this, our roles and responsibility is to make sure that whatever the data is loading from source to target, check that how many data we are expecting from the source to target. It should be loaded. It should not have the duplicate record. Whatever the business rules customer have applied, those should be loaded. The data will be loaded in a target based on those rules. So our roles and responsibility as a ETL tester, and it's a very easy job. You will have lots of free time, and you will have lots of learning also in this, because cloud also coming into picture. Few projects they are including, so you will have very nice. And they are not getting proper cloud people, so they are taking ETL testers only for the all this data validations. Okay, so any other question, guys?
Hi, Jain. This is Vishnupriya here.
Sorry, your name?
This is Vishnupriya here.
Yeah, Vishnu. Yeah, tell me.
Are you teaching ETL testing with Azure database?
Why we need Azure database? Because see what nowadays
Because day before yesterday I received a call from Naukri, and they said they are
maybe you
specifically looking at.
got from SLK, correct? My student also got call from SLK, so they are looking for the Azure database, correct?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. So see, nowadays what is happening? I'm also currently working as ETL tester in one of the projects, but we are receiving data from mainframe, and through the COBOL and JSL, it will be converted into proper database. And before that, whatever the database is there, whatever the database we are going to load the data, after that it will move to the cloud technology. Okay, after that it will move to the cloud technology. So the company itself, they are giving me training for the Google Cloud. They are moving to the Google Cloud, and they asked me to learn it, and they asked me to apply for the certification also. Nowadays people with the ETL testing, they will not have knowledge for the cloud. So what company will do? They will take you as a ETL tester, and they will ask you to learn the cloud part also little bit. We don't have much scope for cloud, because we are not going to do data engineering or anything architecture by. Only thing, we have to validate the data into the cloud. Cloud will be target. Okay, cloud will be target. They will give you the training for that. with the certification. But now the trend is not from that. You should have much knowledge of Azure. If you are very good in, that's why I mentioned in my agenda, basic of Python will be covered, so that if you will mention Python in your resume, what they will think that you know the Python, and learning of cloud will be easy for you.
Okay, okay, I understand. And also, I have another doubt, Jain. This is Vishnupriya.
Yeah, tell me.
What are the techniques or process we use to transform the unstructured and semi-structured data?
So that's what I'm saying. The source team, see, these are the source data. Okay. So source team will be working on this to make your data unstructured or semi-structured data into a structured data. Okay. So those people will be working on that. We don't need to remove the unwanted things from the data. So we see complete setup will be there. The source team will be there, developer will be there, tester will be there. Okay, so the source team will be validating your data, and they will make the so sure that whatever the data you are going to validate, that will be in a structured format already. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we crossed 5 more minutes. Okay, so next class onwards will take from 7:30. Is it okay for everyone? Because 1 hour is not more than sufficient. 1.5 hours we have we'll be considering 7:30 to 9 o'clock. Okay. And believe me, I'll whatever the things I'm teaching, that only in interview it will come 100%, and you will have after completing of the course, you will be able to answer your questions. So I know, like the cloud part is coming in few of the projects, but one of my student recently only he got 2 offers. From one is from Infosys, another from the TCS. In next class, Monday class, I will call in to tell what is interview expectation, and how it is how my notes will be useful for them. So I will call him. You can check with them. Meanwhile, I'll share his offer letter also to you people. So Monday I will call him, and I will tell him to introduce. And if any question will be there, you people can ask. Okay. So let's close the class today. We'll discuss this same thing on Monday. Okay. So Monday we'll discuss and we'll close this. Okay.
And could you please share the things related to SQL today in SharePoint?
You are talking Vishnupriya.
Yeah, this is Vishnu.
Okay. So you have shared me your mail ID, correct?
Yes, I have.
And I hope you have completed data warehouse. This one.
Yeah.
Recordings and documents you have completed for this one.
Yes, recordings I have completed. Yeah.
So all are completed. So, okay, fine. Then you are good to go for the SQL, so that you will prepare in advance, and then you will learn properly the things. Okay. Anyone else will be needed, let me know. We'll share it. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, guys.
Thank
you. Yeah, thank you all. We'll connect 7:30 on Monday, and we'll discuss more about the data warehouse concept. We have covered less topic because 1 hour clearing all doubts and all are not sufficient. So we'll try to close it on Monday. Okay. And this from Monday onwards will be the regular class, Monday to Thursday. There will be no leaves and no things will be there. This week I was not well, so I took yesterday off. Okay, so to make my throat proper. So I hope you people will not mind it. Okay. Okay, guys. So let's disconnect and connect on Monday morning.
Happy anniversary.
Sure, sir. Thank you so much.
And if you'll have any questions, let me know. Okay? Yeah.
you, Jain.
Bye.
Thank you.